I am glad to see many of our users joining in this session today, and also many new people who want to know about the Synergy Homeopathic software. And I'm sure that no one will be disappointed. You will have a very exciting session, a very, very beautiful session where you will be learning not only the software, but something which will help you in your practice in your daily clinics. I am now sitting in my clinic and it's a Sunday. I don't expect any patients, but tomorrow when the clinic starts, when the rush starts, when the patients come, I'll be excited to use the software just like every day I am. And it's a beautiful journey we have with Synergy all every day. So before I begin, I would like to share that many of my our old users, Synergy India's old users or Synergy Homeopathics old users are here. And just for their information, they used to see the program which used to earlier look like something like this, Mac Repertory and reference works. And it used to change into many repertories from here. Now, if you are on a Macintosh or Mac laptop, you will be able to, see both the softwares together, Mac Repertory and Reference Works. But if you are on a Windows, you will have to toggle between two softwares. For example, I'll show you Reference Works also is there over here, and you have this share over here, right? So you have to shift between two softwares. And what we did with the new Synergy Homeopathic software is we integrated everything together. So for example, when you are over here, you see everything on same page. You have the global search at the top and the repertories on the left hand side, and the search is always active. So it makes your job easier. So one of the first things I would like to share over here is that the ease of access, the ease with which you can access the search, the repertories, the materia medicas, it's very, very, very easy. Now, I would like to also remind everyone that you will definitely have some questions in your mind. So after every 15 minutes, I'll take a pause, and of course I'll also go slow so that you can understand all these steps. I'll do the steps again if you want to me to do it, or if I am going too fast to help you understand. And after every 15 minutes, I'll just ask if you have any questions or you have any doubts about certain features which we performed, so that you can understand how the software is functioning and how it is using. Now, one of the interesting things in the Synergy Homeopathic software, the interface that you see is integration of Mac Repertory, Reference Works, and the third software which we have is Vital Quest. You will be surprised how three things are crammed into one. But I myself, when I started using this 2 years back, I was wondering how will three components come together. One is a search, one is a repertory, one is a sensation based method practice. So how will these three things come together? But today you will be seeing something interesting, something very, very beautiful, and it will open your many of your cases, many of your cases where you are stuck up in your practice, where you are willing to take a step further and analyze and see how things go further in your cases. So on the left hand side, you can see my cursor. So you can see on the left hand side, we have few icons on the left hand side. These icons are related to certain functions that they will perform. Whenever in your software use, if you are stuck up or you don't know what this icon means, just hover your cursor on the icon, and at the bottom over here, you can see, I'll just show you also, I'll mark it. So on the bottom over here, you can very, very, very easily see what that feature means. For example, when I go to insight case taking, you can see in the bottom, there is an insight case taking. When I take it take my cursor on the second icon, it shows that it is a repertory. When I take my cursor on the third icon, it shows me that it is a reference library. It also has remedies and books. You can toggle between remedies and books. They are overlapping each other. Very beautifully they are placed. And there is a search icon. Now the search you can also see on the top. You can see that it's placed at the top for use anytime in your case. So suppose you have a case where you feel that you are stuck up in a repertory and you are not able to understand how do you go further. You can very well use this beautiful search which is present all the time. Then we have the fourth thing is the kingdom graph, which has mineral, plant, miasms, and Massimo's groups, and Dr. Rajan Shankaran's rows, columns, Jan Skolton's minerals, Yakir's developments, and this is just few names. There are many more things which will guide you in your analysis after you have taken the case. And this over here is the patient management. And just below the patient management is the clipboard. So if you click on the clipboard, it creates a new clipboard. And if you right click, it will show you some other options. I'll come to this point very soon in the next few steps. First, I just explained all the few icons on the left hand side. Now, similarly, I would also be explaining the icons on the top. One is a patient management, where you can create new patient or save or view old patients. Then there is an edit mode. Now this is an upcoming feature. Many of our users have a version which is one step behind, because we are testing this new version. You will be able to see some colorful icons which you may not be having. So we'll very soon release this update as well. And then the third option is view. Now it's very important for you all to understand the features in this view option, because there are some resolutions which will be larger or smaller, and depending upon that you need to zoom in, which will bring the software more closer to the screen and to you, or you may need to zoom out. So I just did a zoom out. I can again do one more zoom out. It goes even further. And the windows, you can move the windows anywhere. Earlier we had a little fixity, but we are working on releasing the windows as much as we can. And that's where we can, customize the software the way it was earlier, and also as per the needs of each user. So we take regular feedbacks from all users on a weekly basis, and we incorporate all the points whatever the users are commonly saying, so that everyone is seeing what they want to see and not what we want to see. That is the best part. So it's by the homeopaths, for the homeopaths, and of the homeopaths. That is one of the major things. Now the third thing one more thing I want to tell is that you can see that you have the option to change the rubric fonts, remedy fonts, and clipboard fonts. These are all customizable things. You can easily do it. It is one-time setting. It's possible to do it anytime. Then there is a user preference and run updater. This run updater is usually done when we release an update and we tell all the users that an update is here. And then we have a VQ, which is VQ notes. This is basically the VQ module, the third software what we have integrated in the in the repertory and the search icons. And then we have the advanced search. This is for researchers, for advanced studies, or if you are a student, you want to do a single remedy search or comparative two remedies from the repertory or reference library, you can do that also. You can make a search for certain authors also, and there are the possibilities are infinite. And then there is a help option which gives you different things like keyboard shortcuts and remedy abbreviation and author abbreviation and so on and so forth. Now, one of the first things first, I would like to tell you about user preference. So once we go to this user preference on the top, we just click on user preference, a small single click, and it will show you general introduction about the software. Then the repertory settings. I prefer seeing a reliable repertory, complete 2021 and bogus synoptic key at the top. I can always include and or remove any repertory which I feel in my mind for my need. For example, I sometimes do refer Fatak repertory also. So I just click on Fatak repertory and I click on save. So the software tries to save the uh, window and it will show my repertory at the top over here. Right, you can see over here. I go back to user preference because I want to show you something more beautiful, more interesting. There are some clipboard settings. You can change the colors of the remedies that you see and what settings you would like to see. This is a developing feature. We'll be having it soon. And there is a default reference library. These are the books that I refer the most. You can choose your books. You can see, you can say that you are referring more of Fatak Materia Medica. You can keep it at the top. Clark's Dictionary, Soul of Remedies, and Borix Materia Medica, and so on and so forth. And you can just click on save. And then you go to the patient settings, and this is a feature I'll be coming up. So if you are a first time user, this is mostly the case with first time users, you will see another option over here, which is to sign up or sign in or log in, something like that. So as a first time user, you just need to sign up, and it will show you a window where you can access, you put your ID and password, and it will take you to the software inside. It is just a first time feature which any user would like to do. Uh, and then this is also showing to save patients files in Google Drive which you are logged in at. And that is a beautiful feature. We are still testing it. Once we have some clarity over it, we'll send you the notes as well. If you are in another country where there are different languages of the software, for example, there is German and French and Portuguese, you can choose those options. And then there we have the option of backup and restore. So backup and restore basically means if I want to, format my system, or I want to reinstall the software because of some reasons of in my PC, I can take a backup of my cases, and then the files will be saved with certain name that you choose. The last but one of the most important options over here is themes. Now these themes you can change to very beautiful different themes like dark theme, and if you want two color as per your need, and you can see beautifully changed to dark color. So you can change your themes to whichever theme you want, and it beautifully transforms instantly, and it gives you the results which appeals to you, to your taste, to your preferences, and accordingly it will serve best according to how you want them to be seen. So let us keep some light theme which shows you multicolor. All right. Now I would just increase the size of this window as well, and also zoom in a little bit because the icons are too far. The fonts may be too less. So I can just click on zoom in option. Now, when I click on zoom in option, the repertory window enlarges, and I can also, if I want, I can minimize it according to my view preference, or I can try to hover or move it from one part of the screen to the other part. If by chance, many cases, sometimes the users see that the repertory has occupied the entire screen and you can't see anything else. You can't see the clipboards, you can't see the graph, and you are confused, and you call up your local representative, or you call up the Synergy admin, or any of us, you mail us and you tell us that you are in a state where you don't see anything. But there is nothing to panic. You see on the top left hand side over here, let me show you. At this point, you can just go and you can reduce from here. You can see, you can reduce because the window was too enlarged. By default, click or certain feature. So you can just reduce it to this icon size, this window size, and it makes your job easier for you to see what you want to see, right? Okay, now we move further. So far, anyone would like to ask any question, or anyone would like to ask about anything, please feel free, so that the next we can move to recording the cases in the clipboard, and how to save the clipboards and how to save the patient charts. Okay, can we minimize VQ window now? Yes, Dr. Manish, I think we are testing it. I think so we can do it. I'll come to it. I'll make a note of this question of yours. Very nice question. Because I'll be explaining Vital Quest very soon. Uh, so in that, I will definitely share about your question. Thank you for sharing the question. How many clipboard in Mac? There were 10. In this, I think we have 20. I don't go beyond 5, but definitely there are 20 clipboards. This is what I see. We'll click on it and see. We are just at the step where we are sharing about the clipboards. Use of kingdom graphs. I will try my best, Dr. Kankana. I am not an expert, but it requires a separate session altogether. But I'll try my best. Please uh, apologize me if I don't put more light on it. We'll have separate sessions for these advanced trainings of using kingdom graphs in deep. How to compare remedies side by side? Yes, Dr. Vishaka, we will have that in our Materia Medica. I'll show you very soon. I have made a note of this point also. And before I go further, I see one of the burning questions that many of our users and ask that how to convert patient language into 3 words, 2 words, and 1 word. I have one beautiful case where I'll be sharing about how I have used the program in early days and how I came to the conclusion. So let's move further. First things first, again, we have to create a new patient. So I create a new patient. If you are a new user, please go and sign up yourselves. It is just a one-time exercise. I am not logging in every time, and I need not do that also. So this is a demo case, and the date I would write is as 2022. You can write first name and middle name and last name, whichever you feel. Uh, just a moment. I came to the level where I can handle this very beautifully. So you come to this point where you can type patient type. This is about what type of patient, or you can put a reference or whichever you feel like filling up. You can put date of birth and referred by an email address, and how the patient would like to contact through mobile, office, home, and the address and what date they came the first. Now comes the point where you type the symptoms. So you can directly type the symptoms: pain in abdomen, aggravated motion, pain better by lying on abdomen, and then you can go on typing. So this is not a typical scenario where you will see different blocks for different what do you say, different categories of case recording, but it's a plain entire patient notes and symptoms what you would like to see. And you can add attachments which may be the investigation files or the JPG or PNG files in the form of images from taken from your mobile. We have not as yet kept the video recording because these get occupied into very large files. but I'm not sure will be testing or we are testing it as yet. I do not have the information. So whatever is there right now is fairly sufficient for everyone. Now, once you type the symptoms, and you can go on typing like this, whichever you feel, like the thirst, the appetite, the stools, and sleep. This is purely kept as a plain open canvas, a case taking area, where you can type in whatever symptoms come freely in the mind of patient. For example, patient comes and starts sharing about sensations, or patient comes and starts sharing about something about his sleep and dreams. So you can directly go on writing about that, rather than filling those blocks which are usually there in most of these softwares, and they make your free flow of speech or free flow of case taking obstructing. Now, this is what, if you like to put this as a diagnosis or etc. And again, patient notes, this is also very similar. This would be like you can add symptoms of the mind and of the thermals and whatever, you can add it over there as well. And any comments or any observations you feel which are important, right? And then, as I shared, you can go to attachments, and what is the remedy you will choose. This would come later on. But if you would like to save this as of now, let's click on the save option, and it shows me that it has already saved and no changes found. So you can see over here, you can see the name of the patient, demo case 2022, 22 May 2022. Now let's go to the repertory. Now, by default, what happens is that sometimes you forget to click on the clipboard, you forget to open the clipboard, or you forget to launch your clipboard, I would say, and you directly jump onto the repertory. So you go to the mind, and you want to make a search for some symptom. For example, it is fear alone of being. Now, there are many ways to reach to a rubric in the repertory. One way is to do a manual search. So in most of the softwares, what I've seen is that you have a particular window where you need to go and type. For example, people will say that on the top left hand side, and then the second word, and the third word, and the fourth word. Mac Repertory, which was our earlier software, was never designed to be like that, because the speed with which it functions was very important. Now, when you go to the chapter mind, you will see the rubric fear. You will just type the word fear. So I'll just come back to it. Reliable repertory, you click on mind section, and you want to go to the rubric fear. So once you just type the words fear, they will appear and disappear over here. The reason I have not removed this window in the bottom is because you will see words which you will be typing and removing, or they would be going on their own very soon on their own, right? So I go to the mind section, and you can see that there is a mind written, vertigo, there is a vertigo, head, eyes, vision, so on and so forth. So I go to mind, and I type the words FEAR. Remember, the speed is very important. Now, when you type FEAR, the repertory or the software shows you directly FEAR, fear. This is one way of reaching the rubric. Please keep a note of this. Now, to go inside the sub rubric, you can do a double click, and then you can scroll down to the rubric, which may take time, or else you can directly type ALONE, which directly jumps to fear alone of being. Okay. I'll go a step back. How do I go back? I click on the options at the top, mind. So it takes me back to the place where I was. For example, it takes me to the first rubric. It will take me to fear also, but there is another way by which I can come back to fear also. I'll just do the step again, FEAR. So I go to fear, and on your keyboard, you see the right arrow where there are four arrows, top, the bottom, the left, the right. You click on the right arrow, it will take you to the sub-rubrics. This is another way. And then you click on the arrow which goes down, takes you down. You can click there, or you can even type your words alone and the software jumps over it. Okay, and how do you go back to the primary rubric, the fear rubric, the main rubric fear? Click on the left arrow on your keyboard. So I click on the left arrow on my keyboard and I come back to the rubric fear. This is second way. Okay, now there is another way, which is third way. The third way is, there is a small search window given over here. This is upcoming feature. Very soon everyone will be having it. And I type the word alone. And I click enter. So wherever the word alone is there, company aversion to alone when, or desire for company alone aggravate while, or delusions alone, or it can be dreams alone, it can be fear alone. Anywhere the word is, it will show you the rubrics. This is the third way. You can type any words over here and directly the software will show you the relevant rubrics. You can click on X, which removes the word and takes you back to the primary page. This was the third way. What is the fourth way? The fourth way to find out a rubric, if you don't know where it is, sometimes it happens so that we are searching a particular rubric in skin or generalities or in stomach or abdomen, and we don't get it placed over there because it is placed elsewhere. For example, some rubrics of abdomen are also relevant to the location. They are seen in rectum or stool or stomach also. So you don't know, but if you'd like to make a search for fear alone, you can just type over here also alone, and it will show you all the repertories where the word alone is present. Now it comes from reliable repertory, complete repertory, and all the repertories that are there in your software. It shows you the result from repertories as well as from the reference library. It will show you 1400 rubrics, remedies. So this is also another way. Now, many of you must be questioning, why am I not starting the clipboards? Or how do I open the clipboards? Or how do I take the rubrics into the clipboard? So let me go back and show you the repertory part. Mind. I click on fear. I click on alone. This is the normal way which I also prefer. And then I go to the rubric and I drag it to the clipboard. I drag it to the clipboard and drop on the clipboard. Now again, this is the one way of opening the clipboard. If you take another rubric, fear animals of, and drop it on the main clipboard icon, it will open up the second clipboard. This comes of use in cases where you want to use 3-4 clipboards. But if you want to put it in the same clipboard, you can just drag it and put it in the same clipboard. The rubric will increase as you keep on adding. And if you want to first increase the clipboard number and then you want to record the rubrics, no problem, you can do that also. Just do a small left click of your mouse or a normal click of your mouse on the clipboard icon and it will open up the third clipboard. Recording of the rubrics is also possible by selecting the rubric and clicking on enter on your keyboard. Now this also records one of the rubrics over here in the clipboard number 3. Now I go to the clipboard and I want to remove this from here and I want to delete the clipboard also. So I just select the rubric and I click on the delete option on my keyboard and it removes the particular rubric from the clipboard. I can close this and I can also do a right click on the third clipboard and I can click on delete and it shows me whether you want to really delete and I say yes. So only two clipboards are left and I would like to delete the other one also. I click on delete and I click yes. So now we have two rubrics over here, fear alone of being, fear animals of, and on the right hand side you can see there are various remedies in the graphs. Before jumping on to the details over here, I would take some more rubrics. I can go to the particular chapters, for example, palpitation, morning, and then I can go to generalities, food and drinks, sweets. So you can see that now I'm not showing you step by step because I already shared that uh, the ease of access, the speed with which the software works makes it for very easy access. And now again, I drag another rubric to the clipboard and you can very well see that there are now four rubrics in the clipboards and there are a good number of remedies which are coming. Let us take one more. All right. So we'll take perspiration on the back. I'm just sharing an case randomly. This was not even a case. I'm just making up in my mind. But I have few cases to share very soon. So I added perspiration dorsal region. So you can see that I have a few rubrics over here. When I click on the clipboard, it opens up with a few rubrics on the left hand side and a graph on the right hand side. Now, suppose in many cases you have many rubrics taken like 10, 15, 20, and you want to see all the rubrics because in the graph you don't want to see and get prejudiced. So you can toggle to the right. Did you see that I just clicked on this arrow over here and I clicked on to make it to the right. In fact, one of our user reported recently that she couldn't see the remedies in the graph, and the reason was by default she had clicked on the toggle option which kept the remedies on the right hand side and it never showed her. So you can click on the option to toggle and you can see how I can shift between the clipboard and the graph and the graph and the clipboard. So we have a few rubrics over here. Now, many of you are classical practitioners and you would like to study all the rubrics in a form of a grade. So you can just click on a particular rubric and you can give a numbering to the rubric. So it can be a 4 grade rubric. So you just click number 4 on your clipboard on your keyboard. And if there is fear of animals, which is also very important, you can click on number 4 on your keyboard and it increases the weightage of the rubric. This comes of help when you are analyzing cases using classical approach of giving gradations to rubrics. We give gradations to remedies, but here we give gradation to rubrics also. And in this way, you can classify the highest grade rubrics at the top. For example, I just gave 3 marks to the back dorsal region perspiration. It came on the third part because here it's arranged in the form of grade. I can toggle to change it to section and I just clicked on section. Now it shows everything in an order, mind, generalities, and then the particular symptom. So in this way, you can shift between different sections over here. If you want to combine two rubrics, now let us take two similar rubrics. Like for example, there is a rubric company desire for. So I go, there were windows which were overlapping my screen. I go over here and I can go to a rubric which is similar to fear alone, and that is company desire for. Okay, and I click on enter and it gets added to my clipboard. Now it is recommended that after you take the entire case, after you have taken all the symptoms in the case in the form of rubrics, you go and you click on save option. So it will show you whether you want to save uh, clipboard number 1, or if you have also opted for opening number 2 and number 3 and so on and so forth. If you want only one, you can select save, and that clipboard is saved over here. In the initial section when I just created it, it was saved at 627, but now again it is saved. Now we were still analyzing those cases. So I go to the patient history and I just click on the edit session. And once I do that, I have my clipboards back in my the place where they were, right? Now, few things over here, and then we move on to the search options. First thing was to combine the rubric. This is very important. Many of you require to do it. So before doing that, I will remove the gradations of the rubrics. How do I do that? I select the rubrics and I click on number 0 on my keyboard. Now I select the second rubric and number 0 on my keyboard. Third rubric, number 0 on my keyboard. This is of use for some cases. Some homeopaths do use this. Now I want to drag some rubrics up and down. So I can just, drag by selecting them, and then I place fear alone of being and company desire for very close to each other. Now there may be some remedies which are there in one and which are not there in other, but I want to combine them. So I can just press Control on my keyboard and I select the rubrics one after the other, and then I see a second option after the clipboard, which is make group, and then I put any words that I want to and I click on OK. So now in the clipboard you can see the individual rubrics, but in the repertorization you don't see it individual rubrics. So it makes it for concise appearance and makes your job very easier. There are more methods of analysis, like there is one known as elimination method, but right now I will not emphasize on this because we will deviate entirely from a short demo session. Now we go to a part where we need to understand repertory also a little bit. So I'll close these windows and again this as well. So I'm still at the point where case was analyzed and I could see the remedies. Now I just want you all to also see what is there in the repertory for you all. There are a few settings, just like how you did for the entire software. There are a few settings for everyone, and the settings are over here, change view settings. So many a times, many of you don't want to see the remedies because you don't want to get prejudiced. So you click on no remedies, and then you want to see all the grades. You do not want to see any sub rubrics. You do not want to see any authors, but you want to see the cross reference and the remedy counts. And then all these settings you click and OK. And now when you go to the particular chapter, for example, ears, and see how beautifully you just see the remedy, the rubric words, the remedy number, and the cross references. You are not even seeing the authors, you are not seeing the remedies. But if you want to see in any part over here, you can just select that rubric. For example, over here I go in the ear chapter and If there is a patient who tells me that there is aggravation from cold, I select it and I press spacebar on my keyboard. Ferrum phos, calimure, murk dulcis, and phosphorus. So in this way, this was also a feature in Mac Repertory earlier. We have kept this feature as well as intact. And then if you click on any particular cross reference over here, it jumps directly to that particular cross reference. So from here, uh, some pain or some basic rubric, we came to fullness sensation of. In this way, you can see various rubrics related to other chapters. Now, full moon aggravate. So you just click on the rubric full moon aggravate, and there are 38 remedies in the generalities. In the year section, there was only one remedy. So in this way, it makes your job easier when you want to do some particular case recording. Now, many a times in our software use, we come across many symptoms of patient which are direct interpretation of certain rubrics available in our repertory. There are some symptoms which are unique, which are PQRS, which are really very strange, and we want them to be searched because, of course, it's a patient symptom. And you will be surprised to know that many of the such peculiar symptoms are present somewhere hidden in the source books. The only thing is that in the repertory, it is not visible right now because they are still working and it's a work in progress. So the first thing what you can do with the search icon on the top over here is to make a search for particular uh, words. One word I showed you was alone. Other words or combination of words I would like to show you would be something which is very simple. For example, fear animals or fear dog to be specific. So I just click on fear and I put a space and then fear dog, and then I make a search. So when I make a search, it gives me options from various repertories having the words fear and dog anywhere in the rubric, whether it is complete repertory, whether it is Fatak repertory, whether it is Mireles repertories or Kane's repertory, which was the basic repertory, and Murphy's repertory, right? You can also now go back and see the reference library at the top, which will give you the same result, but some more or less number of remedies depending upon your library size and how the words are placed. So fear dog is basically placed very close to each other. So you'll get a lot of references. In that case, I would like to show you that you can put the number 3, which is an average number of words. What is the meaning? I will show you very soon. So you click fear number 3 and dog. So this means that if any sentence there is a mention about fear animals or fear animals dogs or fear alone, fear dark, fear dog, or there are books like Boger Synopticki who have made it really concise. Fear animal, comma dark, comma cat, comma dog. So the words fear and dog have 3 different words in between, which is animal, cat, and dark. And you want to avoid those words because the meaning of your patient symptoms remains the same, which is fear dog. So you put the number 3 from your keyboard on the software and you click on fear number 3 dog. And once you make a search, repertory will definitely give you some answers, but the reference library will give you a huge number of remedies which will simplify your job, and it will directly go to the source books and key repertories which are also included in the reverse form. And in this way you can reach out to the particular symptom of a patient very easily, and you can access it very soon. So right now the query which we made earlier was not clear, that is why it's taking time. I think it's taking a lot of time. I would rather shut down the software, and this has never happened actually, but 1 minute. The software will occupy a space of around 25 GB on Macintosh or a Windows laptop. So I type fear number 3 and then the word dog. Now this is a very common example. Ideally, I will give you one particular interesting symptom. Now as you can see, there are 115 remedies. There may be some remedies where there is, for example, there was a remedy in the C series where, sorry, it's been a busy Sunday, even though we are having a non-working day, but we have had webinar and lot of social promotions. So we go to a particular remedy. Now in the repertory, you can see that it's indicated with the help of different repertory names and the chapter names, right? In the reference library, you have the remedy name on the left hand side, the section just next to it, and then the books next to it from where it is written. And you can just click on it and you can over here, I'll just annotate this location again. So you can see in the bottom the name of the books were which have the mention of fear and dog. So how do you read these references? Your words are placed in the center. Fear dog, fear dog, fear dog, everywhere. You can see fear animal dog. You can also see fear of the dark, a symptom which we see prescribing stemmonium, and then maybe the word would come that fear dog. So if you hover your cursor on the particular reference string which is mentioned in the center, and you just do a small click, not a double click, it's a small left click, you can see that it mentions it, it shows you what is mentioned about the remedy which is mentioned on the left hand side. For example, for psychotico, it is mentioned fear animals of dogs of from Zanderwood 2018 and 19 repertory. For Baraita Foss, it is mentioned when younger, fear of dogs, not so much now. It is in a particular case, I believe, and it is IFH 1993 case proceedings. And in so on and so forth, you can just hover your cursor and you can read the entire symptom over here. So you need not go to the source book or the magazine or the case discussion book or repertory to see where and how it is placed. You can just do a small click on the particular reference string and your words are highlighted in a particular color. Mind you, you can change the color also of the words that you see. And in this way, you can read the entire reference string which is mentioned in that small box. Suppose you would like to read and see this from the entire book which is present. So just do a double click on the particular search icon and your repertory or reverse repertory or your materia medica or your case discussion will open up. And in this way, you can just then scroll down and read the entire book over here. So I'll close this window as of now and I'll take you to different remedies which you can see. I need not go personally in each remedy and show you because You will get a habit of seeing it very soon. Now, one of the interesting things what patients tell us is some peculiar symptom. One patient came and told me was about pain in the right molar tooth, which was a shooting type of pain, and uh, it was troubling her a lot. Okay, so it's a very beautiful case. Let me write it down for you all. This helps you understand how to make a search in the software using 3 words, using 5 words, using same sentence, or so on and so forth. So patient came with right molar tooth pain, shooting type of pain. And when is it more? As soon as the hand touches over here, or if anyone just gives a pat on the cheek, or even touches the cheek. Now these are three different components, right? And you need to go to the repertory in the teeth, and then right, and then molar, and then if you want to make a search for molar teeth shooting pain aggravated on touch, we can try to find, but I don't know whether it exists or not. Right. So I'll take those rubrics again, no problem. I was in the toothache, shooting, molar, but there is no right molar. There is no touch modality over here. So I'll have to take bigger rubrics. So I take, suppose, shooting pain, then I go to the rubric molar, and then I take the rubric touch, aggravate. Now I open the clipboard and I see that there are many remedies coming. You can choose to give any remedy and decide. But in the reference library, when you will make a search for this interesting symptom, it is going to open a new remedy for you, and this is mentioned in the source book also. But before I proceed, just let me show you how to delete the rubric. You can just select the rubric, click on delete option. Okay. And close the window. And then close this window as well. Or you can keep the windows overlap, no issues with that. Now your patient is having the symptom which is right molar shooting pain on the touch. So you make a search for few combinations. You are trying to learn. I'm now feeling myself in your shoes, all the participants who are over here, and you want to know about how to use the reference library, right? How do you make a search for 3 words, 4 words, 5 words, same sentence? So I'm going to show you one case which I have just shared, and how to craft a search. What should be the ideal words and numbers which you should use in making a search? And this is going to transform the way you look at the software, or even at your patients when you take the case and you focus on PQRS symptoms. So I go to the search icon. I can also go to the search icon from this part. I can also go to the search icon from this part at the top. It is always present universally. The first thing I'll do is, I know the location. Okay, right side. I'll type right molar shooting. So why I choose only 3 words? Why I choose only number 3? This is one of the frequent questions. Before proceeding, I want to share that many books will have the words. For example, I shared about dogs, right? Books will have mention of fear of dogs. Some books will have fear of dark, animals, alone, dogs. right? And some books will have a mention of I had a fear of dark and also of the dogs. This is usually the bigger paragraphs, like how Hahnemann Materia Medica Pura or Nash or Kent's lectures will have. So the relation between the word dog and the word fear is the three words in between. The meaning remains the same. Fear dark animals, alone dogs. The meaning remains the same, that we want to make a search for fear dog, but just because there have been three words in between, we want to ignore those words or bypass those words. And that is where you can use the particular uh, option in the search search bar of using number 3 from your keyboard. So in my case of right molar shooting pain on touch, if I type right, then I press number 3 on my keyboard, and then I type molar, again number 3, and then shooting, which is the sensation or the type of pain. It will show you some suggestions. What is the use of these suggestions? I'll come to it just in the next moment. Now, when you make a search, it gives you options from the repertory as well as from the reference library about shooting pain in the right molars. Now, it will also give you modalities if the modalities are present, but it will give you a lot of options to choose from, which is your decision. This is the first step where you will be learning about making a search. Suppose you are not satisfied, you are not able to come to a remedy from the search results which you have got. You want to make another search, and that also involves the touch component. So you put again number 3 and you put the word touch. And now you press enter or you click on the search option. But probably you get one rubric from the repertory, which is Tarantula cubensis, and in the reference library, no result found. And this is one of the most irritating things any user can come across, and I personally have come across. How do you overcome this? First thing is that it will come by practice. You have to use this search option in as many cases as you can. And how do you use it? You have to use the keywords of the case. You have to choose the words which are typical and individualistic to that patient. Over here, what you see are really individualistic. There is nothing wrong. But if you are getting no result found, or you are not getting the desired result, you can reduce or add some words or change the combination. So when I was making a search, I removed the combination of the right side, and I just let remain right. I just let remain molar number 3, shooting number 3, touch, and that's all. And now when I make a search, what number is 3 significant? Dr. Manjari, I just explained, and let me explain it again. I'll take you back to this slide, that there are some books, like for example Boric, which will mention fear dog, and then fear animal, and then somewhere he will mention fear alone. Some book like Boger Synoptic Key, which have mentioned everything concise, short, fear dark animal dog. Some books like Kent Lectures will mention I had a fear of dark and also of the dogs. So now this is located in a sentence, the last words which I am sharing. the last part. This is having relation of three words in between. And this, the top, the first which I showed from Borik, has no word. So even if you put a search for fear and dog, it will give you the result from the repertories. But it will give you less number of results, because many places, many books have made things concise, not only booger, to save space or to make things easier. So many authors have mentioned fear animals, dogs, or they will mention fear animal, cats, dogs, something like that, right? So you want to ignore these words, these two words in between. And there is no better way to ignore these two words than to use the number 3 or number 2, or uh, whatever proximities are there. So you want to know whatever proximities we are using, you can go to the right side of the search bar and you can see, or within 1 word, 2 word, 3 word, 4 word, 5 word. Ideal recommendation is 3 or 5 words, which will give you the desired result, and the words will be placed close to each other. When you will see the result of my case, which I am sharing, molar pain, shooting touch, it will open up your eyes to something interesting. So I'm at this point where I removed the word right and I clicked on molar shooting touch. I typed that with number 3 in between and I click on search. I can also press enter. Just remember that. Once I do that, it again gives me the same thing from the repertory, which is tarantula cubensis, but that is not what I felt like giving. When I go to the reference library, it gives me Magmure. And where does it come from? It comes from Hahnemann's chronic disease. You can see in the bottom over here. Just you see. It's not the book. I want you all to see this. So I'm telling you that just you see. Where does it come from? It comes from Hahnemann's chronic disease. You hover your cursor and you can read the entire symptom. Tearing and boring in a hollow molar with shooting pain on touching the cheek, relieved by open air and cold aggravated by warm substances. Although the word right is not there, but this fairly suffices to what I would be willing to give, or what has the exact match in my patient. Sometimes the location or the side may not matter. We all know that. But I practically had a very good experience in this case after giving Magmure. Now, suppose you want to read about this entire symptom. I already shared earlier also, but I would like to share again that you just do a double click on this particular window and it opens up Hahnemann's chronic disease, tearing and boring in hollow molar with shooting pain on touching on the cheek. Since we are in the Materia Medica part, I would just give you a brief overview over how we can study the different remedies and understand them. And here when you go to the reference library, which is your Materia Medica icon or location, you have the option to see remedies and books. So you can toggle between remedies and books. If you click on remedies, you can read the different remedies. Just there is a plus sign. Click on the plus sign and all the books in the where the remedy is mentioned will open up. If you go to books, you can click on your favorite book, which is Boric. I have kept it at the top. And in the Boric, it opens up the different remedies which are placed one below the other. Now, suppose you want to see only certain books over here, which is just the philosophy books. So you click on philosophy from the right small options over here. click on OK. And you are here, you can see only the philosophy books. There is a small limit created, remove that limit. You go to Boric Materia Medica, suppose you click on abrotenum, you want to search a particular symptom. So you go to Boric Materia Medica and you can click on the top over here, there is a search option, pain. And you can see all the words related to pain over here, right? And in this way, you can make things very easier when you want to make a search. One of the questions by Dr. Vishaka, our user, was how to compare the remedies. Now I'm at this point where I'm in my Materia Medica, so I definitely share about that as well. So I have opened abrotenum. I open abrotenum or maybe bryonia. Okay, it is very similar to abrotenum, or it is mentioned in Boric that it is very similar. So I scroll down to bryonia, and once I click on bryonia, so if I click on bryonia, my remedy abrotenum will disappear from here because it's placed over it. So I do a right click on bryonia and I open on in new window. So in this way I can open multiple Materia Medica windows. Here you see, and then I can go to the option compare tabs, which I can see from here just next to the question mark, and I can click on the options over here, and now you can see bryonia on the left hand side and abrotenum on the right hand side. You can enlarge this window also from both the corners. You want to close this, you can do that, and now you can read only the Materia Medica from Boric about bryonia and abrotenum. Yes, I'll repeat, Dr. Pratik. I'll close this window for me to repeat. I'll go to the reference library. There are many books over here. This is the default book which opened up. I'll take my cursor to the top and I click on books. I go to Boric Materia Medica. I click on abrotenum. Now abrotenum opens up by default in the first window. I want to compare abrotenum with bryonia. I scroll down to bryonia, BRY, and then I see bryonia, and I do a right click on bryonia. I open a new window, and then I see the option to compare tabs side by side. I click on one of the tabs. If there are multiple tabs, you will see that one which is primary is selected, and then the other which you will select is selected. I click OK, and then bryonia comes on the left hand side and abrotenum on the right. And if I want to read it in a larger window, I can toggle to the left from this option which you just saw. And now you can see I can read bryonia from Boric and abrotenum from Boric over here, and I can compare the extremities, which are very important for both these remedies. There you go. Right now, this is just the tip of the iceberg. There are many things you can do in the software. I'll close this window. Before I proceed to showing certain limits and some features, I want you all to see something really eye-catching. And I was sharing about this case of Mag Muir, which had this symptom of shooting pain on touch. Now you want to study all the toothache related symptoms of Mag Muir. How do you do that? Normally, when you will go to your Materia Medica and Repertory, you will have to sit for hours and days to mark and understand those rubrics or those symptoms. what I'll show you will be very easy and it is going to transform your practice. Toothache, I'm just typing toothache, one space bar, and then if you are using the software, you can right now do it manually in your software also. It's going to be very interesting. And then type the word mag, just the word MAG. Now it will give you various suggestions over here. Okay. Magnets as a family, Magnoliaceae as a remedy, or what do you want? Or you want some remedy. And of course, I wanted mag mure as a remedy. So it comes in my suggestions over here. Mag mure as a remedy or mag carb as a remedy. I just wait for a minute because it indexes and finds out from the different locations about what words include mag, or I can type mag-m, and now it shows me magmure as a remedy. Now I'm telling the software to make a search for all the toothache related to magmure, and once I click enter, it will give you all the repertory related rubrics of magmure from different repertories, not just one repertory. And in the reference library, it will give you 385 references for toothache in the Materia Medicas. Isn't it so beautiful? I mean, this is going to transform your practice. I go to colleges and I always share that there are students and postgraduates sitting, and they are told that you have an assignment, carbon remedies, all the carbon families and their anxieties. Go and get tomorrow. How will you do that? Remove this option over here. I'll close this window. I'll just type anxiety and I'll type carbon. It's so beautiful. Anxiety, just a space, and carbon. Now I want carbon as a family. So I'll just select the first suggestions over here, which is carbon as a family. And you can see the word carbon got highlighted in blue. And I can click on search bar or I can press enter. Once I do that, I'll see only the carbon remedies on the screen right there and then, with the word anxiety in the rubrics. And this not only comes from the mind, it comes from vertigo, it comes from head, it comes from eye, it comes from nose. Wherever the word anxiety and the carbon remedies are present, it will show you all the rubrics from not only one remedy repertory, but the various repertories that you see. This is going to, take your practice to another level. You have reached to a remedy, to a group of remedies, but you are not able to decide, or you want to ask a leading question to confirm your family or remedy to the patient. And there you have, or patient has shared something about anxiety, but it happens in my patients many times that I want to ask, when is the anxiety more? Before food, after food, before sleep, after sleep, when you are going out, when you are in home, morning, evening, night, any time. I just click on anxiety and carbon and I can find it. This is just about the repertory part I'm explaining. If I click on the reference library, I have 10,000 references for 33 remedies. And this came within a few fraction of seconds. This is going to be the next level of practice, my friends. And this is really very beautiful. Since the time I'm using this, I'm using this feature in and out. Suppose you want to study all the fears of Ranunculaceae family, or maybe pulsatilla, the remedy pulsatilla. So you just click on fear and spacebar pulse, and pulse as a remedy, and I click on enter in my keyboard, and very quickly you will see all the fears of pulsatilla in your screen, different repertories if you have all the repertories, and the reference library. And this feature is there in the student edition, the foundation, the professional, and the visionary. And you can see how beautifully it expresses all the fears from different chapters. It came from extremities, it came from female, it came from fever, generalities, and so on and so forth. For the remedy only pulsatilla. And I'm telling you that this is still the tip of the iceberg. 3 days back, I was just willing to study about uranium nitricum and the author Sujit Chatterjee. Or maybe I wanted to study some references or some books of Dr. Sujit Chatterjee in my software. Or it can be Dr. Sankaran or any on and Dr. Farooq Master. His seminars are going on in our Hope portal. So I just typed over here FAROKH and I waited for the software to show me the suggestions. And okay, I typed his surname and you can see Farooq Master. And I just click on enter over here. And if in the repertory there are any additions by Dr. Farooq Master, they'll be shown to me. And in reference library, if there are any books or additions in the repertory, they'll be shown to me. Or any mention about those books over there, it will be shown to me. This feature still needs some investigation, but it will definitely serve some purpose and it is going to help. Yes, so Dr. Amol Kirar has very aptly shared some word related to some particular book. Now, for example, diabetes. Now, in colleges, when I go, I tell them, I ask them, how many remedies do you know from boric materia medica having the word diabetes? They answer just few of them. You go to the software, type diabetes, and apply filter on the search result. So this is the next level of practice. You can apply the filters anywhere in the repertory, and I'm just about to conclude the session. We are, running beyond the timing, but it's going very exciting. So I'm sharing more and more features. I hope the audience is not tired and they are waiting for their evening tea or snacks. But this is my food for today, snacks, evening snacks for today. So you can apply limit or apply filter rather everywhere in each section over here. You can limit to remedy, author or kingdom. Similarly, you can type the word diabetes and you can click on the three small lines on the right hand side of the search bar and you can click on reference library and you can click on books, which is by default present. And I just type on boric materia medica, click on apply and I click enter. On the repertory, do not look at it because it has by default chosen it. But in the reference library, everything comes from boric materia medica and there are 50 remedies for diabetes. Students or practitioners will be able to answer or give or share only 5 or 10 remedies. In this way, you can make a search for any clinical condition from any book or generally you want to make a search for any tumor or gangrene or anything. So you make a search gangrene. I'm making a general search. I'm not limited it, and you can see you can see gangrene from different sections in the repertory, and in the reference library there are 483 remedies having the mention of gangrene. If you are new to using reference works, I want to share that you can use this reference library over here, the tool as a mode of repertorization. Now, in a case of gangrene, if there is a desire for sweets, okay, so I'll take you back to the PowerPoint just because I want to share something interesting. So I take you to a case. Suppose the case is a case of gangrene, desire sweets, pain in the temples and perspiration back. Okay. Now this is, four different symptoms from four different parts, but you want one common remedy for this, right? So what we can do is we can put the in the same remedy is the proximity we use in our searches. Okay. What does this mean? Many of you must be questioning, many of you are new users, many of you don't know how to use this feature. So I'm just sharing how do you use this. You go to four different sections in the repertory and then you see the graph which has one common remedy. Whereas in the reference library or in the reference search, when you go, you will just type the keywords of the case, gangrene, and then you can see on the right hand side there is a proximity option in the same remedy. So this is a keyboard shortcut also by pressing the space bar 5 times. Gangrene in the same remedy, desire sweets in the same remedy, perspiration pack. So every words needs a connection in between. I already shared about using number 3 in between. The ideal number should be used will be 3. You can of course use number 5, but the more larger number you will use, the more further the word will be placed and it will not mean what you want it to mean. Garbage in, garbage out. Okay, so just keep those things in mind. Gangrene in the same remedy, desire sweets. How do I connect desire sweets? By using the number 3. In the same remedy, perspiration back. And in the same remedy, pain temples. That's all. And I press enter, or again I can just click on the search bar. And once I click on the search option, it will give me some result if this combination is seen by the software, or else I need to change the words sometimes. Sometimes many of the users get stuck up. 84 remedies are there for this search query, which has gangrene in the same remedy, desire sweets in the same remedy, perspiration back in the same remedy, pain temples. Now 84 remedies is a huge number. In our repertory also we'll get a good number of remedies because all the symptoms are broad. You need to individualize the case and find something which is PQRS. Suppose patient will tell pain temple only in the morning. Okay, and once you make a search from 84 remedies, I think you will be reducing half the number or even more, 1/4 number will be the result. Now we have 30 number of remedies. So once we individualize it, the more better. But try to use less words as possible because more words will complicate the search and you will land up with no result found. I think there has been too much information, I believe, and I have shared maximum things to you all which needs to be utilized. I hope I'm not missing out on anything. The kingdom graph, just I'll share in brief. I'll open a case and I'll share in brief so that last case which we solved, click on edit session. There are 6 rubrics. Now you go to the kingdom graph over here, and once you click the kingdom graph, you see a graphical representation. Animalia 20%, minerals 36%, plants 36%. You can change to minerals overview or plants or animals, whichever you want to see. And once you click on any graph, for example, Jan's Cortins graph, the remedies which are there in your repertory sheet are colored. This gives a very good indication for what your remedy family or the substance will be. For example, natrum and potassium are very strong. So it can be natrum carb or kali carb, or it can be calcarea carb, or something related to calcarea phos, because phosphorus is also colored. If you want to read about any remedy, you can go to a particular remedy over here and you can click on C, or it will limit the entire graph rather. Just 1 minute, I'll come back to this, just 1 minute. So you can double click on carbon and you can read in brief about the carbon series. 1 minute, I'll close this window. I go to the graph. Now the entire graph is limited to the filter which we chose. We can choose the filter of the graph from the minerals overview over here, or plants or animals. Just click on alumina and the whole graph is limited to alumina group of remedies, and you can reverse the filter. Or you want to limit it to maybe calcarea group of remedies, just do a right click on calcarea. You can see view remedies family, and you can see that there is various groupings where the remedy is placed, and you can just see that it is mentioned about various groupings. I just want to see calcium as a remedy in everything, and once I click on it, wherever the calcium component is present in the particular, I think it's not the right filter which I chose. Let me go back. View the remedies. It was from the mineral ferrum series. That's why it also came included the arsenic. So I go scroll down and the row 4, or maybe just scroll a little bit, and I want only the calcium. Yeah. So I clicked on calcium and kali carb, natrum carb, carboanimalis, parita carb, carbo veg, carbonium sulfate, and so on and so forth. So it makes your job very easier. You can also apply filters from the top, minerals or plants or animals, and you can also reverse the limits instantly. You want to go to a particular remedy, suppose sorinum, you can just click on PSOR and the remedy is highlighted. You can also print the graphs or download and save the image. We have done maximum things, and about the methods of how to use the graphs, or how do you make use of various graphs, you need to do some courses, because we just deal in software. The software is giving you techniques or technology to use, rather the techniques of how to do it or how do you reach to a particular sensation, you'll have to learn in the classroom. We have the Other Song Academy, we have the Hope portal, which have a lot of information. Last but not the least, about the Vital Quest notes. For people who want to know about Vital Quest notes, we have something very interesting over here, and it's about how do you so Dr. Purnima is asking COVID symptoms. There is a repertory by Dr. Jeremy Sher, which is COVID repertory. It's already there. If you contact our technical team, they will help you install. Also, the new version which you see on my screen right now, you will get that version as well. Last but not the least, I was at the point where I was sharing about the Vital Quest. So many cases where you will have a lot of sensations in the case, lot of mind symptoms in the case, and you want to make a search for those particular symptoms. So suppose I'll just open a case for you all. I'll show you a case. I learned this from Dr. Paresh Osani sir, and what he does is very interesting. He tries to put the entire case in the text approach. So let me take you. All right. Text approach. Now, what was your observation in the mind symptoms when you have taken? I feel I was attacked by everyone in my home. I feel okay. Now I feel my illness is not leaving me. It is hindering my work. So you can see hindering, attacked, and whatever words are, non-human specific words, those words come over here. I'm not typing the entire case. I'm just giving an example. You can type the entire case over here, all observations and all the words over here. And once you click on sensation analysis, it gives you miasm, plants, and minerals, the percentages. Plants have 31%, minerals have 15%. So if you go to plants, all right, you see cruciferae, fungi, and solanaceae. And then you want to see a pie chart mentioning about it, and you can see that as well. So this will give you a fair idea, a brief overview about how you can go through the different families. And yes, Dr. Manish, I would like to answer that we can reduce this window. I have not checked it, but I checked it right now. It never bothered me, but yes, it was a problem, I believe. So we can reduce these windows over here, and similarly, there are many notes over here for Vital Quest. You want to study plant notes, you can click on different plant families, Anacardiaceae, and you can study the entire sensations and the cases and so on and so forth. So I hope this gives you a fair idea about how the software is, what the software is. If you are already user of Mac Rapid Reference Works, we have a upgrade offer for every one of you. You can just migrate to the new software. It has many features. What I've shown you today is just 5% of the entire software. I can show this for 2-3 days continuously. If you are already using SHS, I'm glad to share that we'll soon have a multicolor interface, even better than this, because I am using a version which is being testing since the last few weeks. But the developers have already a higher version than this, so you will be getting it soon. And for all those who don't have the software, who want to avail this software, you can definitely write back to us. We will help you with the best offers going on. I will be seeing some things in the chat right now if I missed anything, so that is chakras included? No, not yet. I don't know whom to contact, or maybe if you have some reference, you can write to us. Our email IDs, I will also share my email IDs so that you can contact us. Okay, so one question I see, Dr. A.L. Mamoon, do you have case taking template? No, we do not have a case taking template, but we do have sections where uh, patient symptoms can be entered, notes can be entered. What I personally feel, I have used the other softwares, I will not name them, but I have used those sections where there are case taking templates. These make you very fixed in your approach. You have to fill in all those boxes, and the most irritating thing I will tell you is that you have to go in each box by pressing the cursor and toggling between cursor and the keyboard and cursor and the keyboard. Even if you use the tab option, sometimes it gets stuck up. So that option is particularly very redundant, I would say. Differential remedy analysis. Many things you can do to study the remedy in different ways. Thematic case, like create a theme for IBS or psoriasis and then show rubric for that disease. Remedy suggestions for the case. Remedy suggestions for the case is like giving you food in your mouth with a spoon also attached. Uh, that you'll have to do. थोड़ा मेहनत तो करना पड़ेगा. A little hard work you'll have to do because every homeopath does that. And what patients you will see, they'll give you some symptoms which are typical individualistic. You need to study those. But about thematic case taking, like create theme for IBS, we can combine the rubrics and we can see rubrics related to that. We can also make a search for psoriasis and find rubrics with that. Simple. It's fairly simple. I hope you are still seeing my software screen. I click on psoriasis and you can see so many rubrics. This is the reliable repertory which we have very newly added, and it has all the reference string attached. So you see a small star besides Bovista. I can click on it and I can read about all the reference strings. It makes your prescription more relevant. It gives you more teeth to your practice. And differential remedy analysis, what you saw in the kingdoms and the remedy graphs, that does have a differential case analysis. Hitesh Shah, sir, how to toggle between windows? So, sir, now the windows are very flexible. You can see the windows are overlapped on each other. So you can just click on one window, it goes besides, on top of other, and then I click on back to that window, and I can go there. So very soon we'll be having this version also. So this is like, I'm just showing you this on my screen, how I'm going between different windows. They are just stacked on top of each other. Can we directly add audio or video? I think not, sir. We will still ask the developers because this is like a lot of data and lot of heavy volume. Can we highlight books while reading reference library and save it as highlighted? Yes, Dr. Manisha, we have this feature now. We have this feature now. I had seen this, I think in a testing version, but like for example, I can do over here. Yes, you can see it is possible. I have never used it, but yes, you can do that. And you can also put a bookmark. That's a very nice thing. I have seen that. Yes, you can do that as well. So you can put a bookmark to animate. In fact, what I've seen is that we can open the book where we left reading. This is very interesting. This is very new thing which I've seen. Suppose I left the book reading over here, and when I open the Materia Medica section over here, it opens up over here itself directly. Please upgrade from Mac to Synergy. Yes, Dr. Kirandeep, we'll contact you soon. And psoriasis on the head in different repertory on the same page. Yes, sir, I showed you definitely. Dr. Bhavish, I will share the link. I will try to share the link from YouTube if we put it once very soon. So I'll answer Dr. Hitesh's question about psoriasis from different repertories. I made a search already, sir, over here, psoriasis. And once you see, you can see different repertories over here, reliable repertory, complete repertory, and you can add these. You can go on adding them to the clipboards. Over here, okay, here it's very less, it doesn't make sense. From here, and then you close this repertory, you open Fatak's repertory if you feel like seeing more rubrics, more remedies from there, and then you can add all the three combined. You can see our SIO as coming up. Dr. Bhavish, everyone has the number 1.2.5. Everyone will be upgraded to 1.8.5 or something higher than that. Kind of vertical integration of result on the same page. I think Dr. Hitesh will talk about it. I'm not able to understand. Uh, Dr. Piyush, sir, please share me how to select particular rubric in place of multiple rubrics, same like in clipboard. Okay, it's very easy, fairly easy. I would say that if you want to combine, it's kind of you just click on the rubric. Just do a small click on the rubric, control, and select the rubric, and then you can make a group. This is the way of combining the rubric. Psoriasis, and then I click on OK. And if you want to ungroup them, you just click on the top on the headline, right click on it and click on ungroup. It will be ungrouped. COVID symptoms, Dr. Neelam, are added in a new repertory by Dr. Jeremy Sher. You can raise a ticket from our website, and our technical team will install it for you. If you have SHS, you can avail that. In Mac repertory, we are not having that repertory. And Dr. Jagdeep Singh, I'll definitely share some cases for everyone, of course. Dr. Swati, how to go from sub-rubric to main rubric directly without scrolling over sub-rubrics? Very good question. I appreciate that. It's very important. One of the major difficulties I have seen in using other softwares is that you need to go and type your words in those windows, which makes it very cumbersome. Here it's very, very, very easy. I'm closing all the windows for you all to see how beautifully it is. I'll take you somewhere deeper in a rubric, for example, fear, and then somewhere midnight after 3 a.m. Now you do not want to click on the left arrow again and again to go back. So you can just click on the reliable repertory on the top and you come back to the main page. That it makes very easier. And this, I want to remind all the audience that the speed is the USP of the software. The ease of access is the USP of the software. So you will use many other softwares, but you will not be able to get this speed, or maybe these features, the search features, the USP, which makes very easier for you all to search. Vital Quest is a separate purchase. It is a separate addition. You can always contact the person, local representative, and he or she will help you. So thank you all. I have mentioned my email address also on the chat over there. You can definitely contact me for any issues. You can contact our admin. You can contact. It will come to us in one way or the other. And I thank you all for your patience. It was a 2 hour session almost. I planned for 1.5 hour, but definitely I will. We'll be doing more sessions every monthly. And thank you all. For further study, Dr. Mamta, our YouTube channel, Synergy Homeopathic, has all the videos. You can go through it. You can also log into a channel with my name. You can find many videos from my channel as well. Dr. Pratik, just a question I would like to answer. Complete classic repertory is not available for sale. It was available in a testing version for me. It's not available, but I'm telling you one thing: you start using reliable repertory. It is almost close to complete classics repertory, although it does not have lot of remedies and the rare remedies, or maybe the unverified additions. But reliable repertory has all the clinical additions. Maybe if you want, just drop me an email that you want to know more about reliable repertory. I'll send you a document. You can use it. I'm using reliable repertory in most of my cases, using for particular symptoms or broader rubrics or peculiar rubrics, and reaching the right remedy fairly the similar way like complete repertory. So complete repertory is good in a way, but it has lot of remedy additions, lot of data. At some point, you will feel that your repertory charts are too many, having too many remedies. But with reliable repertory, it will show you only a good number of remedies. Dr. Grant Bentley's facial analysis, I'm not sure, Dr. Prashant. I'll ask the technical team. No problem with that. So thank you all for your kind patience, and we'll see you soon again.